So now what? How do we actually take ourselves out of this rut and start to move forward with our lives and start to pick up the pieces? The first piece of advice I'm going to say, start doing something that requires the smallest amount of activation energy, because once you start doing little things, it becomes a lot easier to do the bigger, more difficult things. Start small. Take a shower, brush your teeth, wash your face. Simple and doable. I'm an expert in being in ruts, okay? I'm an expert in going through these down spirals. And let me tell you that every single time, that shower is always the first stepping stone to getting me out of that feeling, to getting me to a better place. The next thing is to set a timer to tidy up. Like I said before, the harder tasks are, the less likely we're gonna do them. If you have been depressed and feeling down for a while, your area is most likely not going to be that clean, and that's okay. So there's two things we need to think about here. The first thing is we're not going to go into the spiral of, oh my god, look at the mess I've made, I'm so disgusting, I'm gross, I can't believe I let myself live like this, and start to self-identify with that. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to see this moment in time, this moment of our life, and use it to characterize ourselves. It's okay. This is a bump in the road. It happens. We're human. We're not all perfect. We're not all neat and tidy all the time. We can't always be perfect. The last thing you want to do right now is to start to internalize that and be like, oh, I am so messy. I am so gross. Because when you start thinking that, the chances of you fixing this or changing, it just depletes. The second thing is that we're not going to set ourselves up for failure by telling ourselves that we need to clean our whole room or our whole apartment or our entire living room or our entire closet or our entire this, our entire that, and that we're going to spend hours and hours and hours doing this, because that's not going to happen. Let's be so real. It's not going to happen. So what are we going to do instead? We're going to set a timer. And honestly, this seems like something a parent would do with a child to get them to clean. All this kind of like self-help and getting yourself out of a rut, sometimes we do kind of have to treat ourselves a little bit like a child, like we are doing a sort of kind of gentle parenting, because the way that we talk to ourselves a lot of the time is so harsh, and it's ways that we would never talk to a friend or a child. Sometimes the voice that we use to speak to ourselves when we are trying to pull ourselves out of a dark time, it needs to be gentle, and it needs to be as if we're speaking to a child. This is where the timer comes in. You set a timer for maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes, and you just clean during that time. That's it. Whatever you can do during that time, you do. And once that timer ends, if you don't want to keep going, you're done. You can move on. But more often than not, after that timer ends, you might feel like, maybe I want another 15 minutes. Maybe I just want to do this little piece first, or maybe I just want to do this first, or maybe I just want to clean my kitchen up a little bit more, or maybe I just want to finish my closet, it's almost done, it'll maybe take me 20 minutes more, something like that. And if not, that's okay. You did something. You will feel better about yourself because you started. You don't have to climb the mountain in one day. Just a couple steps is getting you closer to getting yourself out of that hole. The next tip is to become a visionary. We need to reflect. A lot of the times when we get into these ruts, it's because we just don't like where we are in our lives right now. That's something that happens to me. Ruts a lot of the time is the idea that, oh, I don't like where I am in my life right now, and I am feeling miserable because of that. So this is where you get to have fun. You get to dream. You get to become a visionary. If you don't like your life right now, if you don't like who you are right now, if you don't like where you are right now, start dreaming. Start imagining a better future, a better life. Be delusional. Fantasize. Get excited. Build that wonder and excitement for life back up within yourself. This will help reinforce the idea that there is somewhere to go. You are not stagnant. You are not stuck. There is something to work towards. There is something to fight for. This is to remind you that the current way you are living is not permanent, that there is always somewhere else to go, and that you have the ability to change things. I think something we forget is that we can change our lives at any given moment. We can change the trajectory of our lives at any given moment. I used to feel very depressed because I was following a career path that I had no passion for. I did not see myself reaching this end goal and finally feeling happy, and that would make me feel down so much of the time. So you know what I eventually did? It took me so long. It took me so many ruts and so many times of feeling miserable to finally realize, oh, I need to make this change. And I finally did, and I changed my career path, because you can change your life at any given time. And that's not to say that it isn't scary. It is scary. To leave something you know and to try something else is scary, but it's a whole lot scarier to stay in something, to stay making the same mistakes, doing the same things that are making you miserable, that you know will continue to make you miserable. That is scarier than making a change and facing a new reality. All right, my next piece of advice is to reflect. And I talk about reflecting a lot in a lot of my videos because it is just the biggest thing. People talk about journaling a lot. Honestly, I really like journaling, but sometimes when I am feeling down, the last thing I want to do is pick up a pencil, pick up a piece of paper, even my laptop to type it out. That's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to sit there and write things out. What helps me actually is I put my phone on. Usually when I'm driving or something, I'll just turn the camera on and I'll just start talking. I'll talk myself in circles and circles and circles, but eventually I come to some sort of conclusion. I come to realizations. That's the easiest way for me to kind of journal or reflect, is just talking. I'm a talker. I talk a lot. Okay, so that's what works for me. For you, it can be anything. Maybe you want to write things down in a journal, on your iPad, on your laptop. Maybe you don't even want to write paragraphs, you can write jot notes. Maybe you don't even want to write jot notes, you can do a mind map and just connect different words, different points. Just think. This can also tie into the shower, okay? If you don't even want to have a pencil, if you don't even want to talk, if you don't want to do any of that, take a shower, take a walk, and just think. Stop with the overconsumption. A lot of us have a tendency when we are feeling very down to just consume. And by this, I mean usually media, right? Media or food, different things that provide instant gratification to kind of suppress our thoughts and what we're feeling. I do this all the time. When I'm feeling down, I will just watch more and more and more TV, more YouTube videos, more content. I'll read more. I will just do everything but confront what I'm actually dealing with and what I'm thinking about. So actually confront your thoughts. Understand why is it that you have gotten to this place in the first place, and don't start thinking about these things and thinking about how you got to where you are right now with judgment. I want you to look at the things that have happened to get you here. Look at them without judgment. Don't judge yourself for it. It's okay. You're a human being. You are allowed to make mistakes. A lot of the time it's not mistakes, but it's things that don't align with our sense of self that cause us to feel this kind of anxiety, and understand that that's okay. You're allowed to stumble. You are allowed to fall. So don't judge yourself. Don't judge your past self for making all of these decisions. Don't start to associate these mistakes you've made with your sense of self again. Because I think this is the biggest thing that happens when we are feeling down, is we take the mistakes we have made. We take the way we are feeling now, the way we are acting now, and we internalize it and we say, oh, this is who I am. This is what I am. I am the accumulation of all of these mistakes. And we start thinking of all these negative thoughts about ourselves. And this is the most stunting thing. This is the most stunting thing. And I'm the same way, because I am such a perfectionist, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are too, where when we make a mistake or we do something that doesn't align with our sense of self, we feel like we have completely failed ourselves and that there's no way to go back to this ideal version of ourselves which we are seeking, which again, it isn't real. There is no perfect version of ourselves that we are going to one day reach and be enlightened. No, there isn't. We are going to constantly be playing this game of making progress, then falling short, then making progress, then falling short, and just going around and around and around and around and around and around. That's a part of life. And there's a YouTuber I really like. Her name is Alicia Gogan. I've listened to her podcast a lot, and one topic she's mentioned before, I've just heard her mention the term, so I don't know if I've understood the topic in the way she means. I'll tell you what I've kind of understood from it. She talks about these little deaths and rebirths. I love this idea. I love this idea that we go through these little deaths and rebirths, that we change and we evolve and we become different people throughout our lives. And I think something we need to remind ourselves of is that when we do go through these difficult times, when we go through these ruts, when we fall in these holes, this is what pushes us to change. All of the biggest things I have done, or the best things I've done, which is still nothing, all of my biggest accomplishments have come from my lowest points. Everything I have actually achieved has come from my lowest points, because that is what propels you to change. That is what propels you to do more. That's what motivates you. We climb up to here and then we're like happy here, but then we make a bunch of mistakes and we feel like we've kind of fallen down here, and then we climb out again, but instead we don't just climb up to here. Now we're climbing up even higher. And that is the mentality that I want you guys to keep in mind, that these ruts, these holes, these mistakes, these downfalls, they're just going to make us climb even higher, because sometimes we just get stagnant. We just get stuck. This is what's going to keep us pushing. These little deaths and these little rebirths are going to keep us evolving and growing and changing and becoming better and better. The next piece of advice, and this one is not for everyone, so I want you to take it with a grain of salt. It is to take more risks. You might be in a rut because you are feeling very stagnant in your life. You are feeling like things are becoming very consistent and becoming the same. You're feeling complacent, or you're feeling unhappy with the way that your life is going, or you're feeling bored. So start taking risks. And if you already take risks and you're still feeling like your life is very monotonous, then start to take bigger risks. Bigger risks. Why does the word sound so weird to me? Do things outside of your comfort zone. But I want you guys to understand that this can cause anxiety if you are the kind of person who tends to ruminate. I made this mistake. I went into this semester of my school year thinking, okay, I'm gonna try so many new things, I'm gonna experience new things, I'm gonna put myself out of my comfort zone, and I'm gonna be so much more social and all of this. And then I did that, and because I am the kind of person who tends to ruminate, who tends to have a little bit of anxiety from time to time, doing all of this all at once really threw me for a loop. Taking so many big risks in such a short amount of time really disturbed my sense of self, my sense of identity, and it shouldn't, because my sense of identity was kind of already shaking a little bit, it really did not help with that, right? So if you are someone who tends to ruminate, who tends to overthink things, who tends to tie their sense of self to the decisions that they are making on a daily basis, then be careful with this. But if you are someone who is feeling like your life has become so monotonous and so boring and so distasteful, if you are someone who is starting to lose interest in their day-to-day life, I've definitely experienced that too, the crushing weight of existence itself, right? If you are someone who's feeling that, then I do encourage you, take more risks, try new things. And these don't have to be big risks. They can be small things. Like, for example, get a guitar. Get a guitar, learn a song on a guitar. It's such a small thing, but adding these new things to our life can really help. Okay, now we're going to talk about goals. I feel like the times I fall into a rut, they're one of 3 reasons that I've kind of fallen into this rut. Number 1 is because I have too many goals, way too many overly ambitious goals that make me feel like I am incompetent, like I am incapable. The second reason is that I have no goals. I have no ambitions. I have nothing I'm striving towards at that moment in time. And the third thing is that I'm doing things that don't align with my goals. So reassess your goals. Think about whether you have too many goals or you have not enough goals, or if you have just neglected and completely ignored goals that you have at heart, or if you have no goals. If you have no goals and you are feeling down, I wonder why. It's because you have nothing you're striving towards. There's nothing that's special to you. There has to be a why behind everything that we do. That's how we are as human beings. We are always searching for purpose, for meaning. We're just going through our day-to-day life running on automatic mode. Of course, we're gonna start to feel a little bit down. We're gonna feel like we're living a meaningless existence. And my last piece of advice is to understand when it is more than just a rut. Sometimes there is more to this than just feeling down, feeling depressed. Sometimes we actually are depressed. Sometimes we actually do have some sort of mental health disorder that we need to get professional help for. Don't be afraid to go seek out help. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that whatever you are going through right now, you find your way out of it. Again, don't beat yourself up for getting here in the first place, and don't rush the process. It'll happen. I believe in you. I wish you the best of luck. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.